So this section, this workshop that we are getting ready to do is about the resources at the Richland County Library. And even if you don't live in Richland County, you'll want to stick around to hear more about these resources because you can log into things that are online anywhere where you are, anywhere in the state. And you don't even have to have a library card to access some of these amazing resources with the Richland County Library. And here today to talk about them is one of my favorite librarians, Laura Cheek, who works at the Richland County Library downtown and in the children's room and the Education Studio. So take it away, Laura.
Yes, hi, I'm Laura Cheek, and I do work in the Education Studio at the main library in Richland Library System, which is at 1431 Assembly Street in downtown Columbia. And we'd love to have you stop in and see us. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the services that we offer and how I got started kind of developing the things in the Education Studio. It's great that you're homeschoolers because I'm also a homeschooler. And so that's kind of part of what brought me to talk to you today was wanting to bring these same things that we've been able to accomplish at the library so that you can use them in your homeschools. And I like to party, and by party I mean read books, and I feel like that is definitely true of most homeschoolers I know. They love books and they love coming to the library, they love building their home libraries. So me and the library are kind of a perfect match in that way. I love books too, and I have a problem like finding new spaces for books on my bookshelf and letting go of old books that I have. So first and foremost, before I even had children, I loved books. And then my first child came along. This is my daughter. She's my oldest. And as you can see, when I first started homeschooling her, that's her on the left with the cute little face and the bows and all that stuff. And then there she is on the right. So she came all the way, she homeschooled all the way through, graduated a few years ago, and she's actually a nurse now in critical care. So she was my first, guinea pig in the homeschool experiment. And we had a great time together. She really loved, the self-directed learning. We did a lot of that with her. And my second child came along, and this is his cute little self right here as a little guy. And then there he is. He just graduated last year, so that's him. His graduation pictures were very different from his sisters because, as you know, no two kids are alike, and they're just so different in their likes and needs. Yeah. But when he came along, he did, I thought, man, I've taught a lot of kids to read. I taught kindergarten before I had my own children. And he just struggled so much with the alphabet and with reading and with being able to even say the letter sounds and connect them with the symbol. And so I just, was really struggling to find resources for him. And I thought it would be easy because even back then I worked in the library part-time before I went full-time. And I thought, man, I'm here in the library. Like if there's any place in the world where I should be able to solve these problems for him, this is it. The library is it. And I still just had a really hard time finding things for him that were free. The things I did find were very expensive. And this was me right then. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for. So I wanted to help him, and it did end up going and getting assessed and getting a diagnosis of dyslexia and dysgraphia and some other issues with attention. And I was still looking for those materials that weren't going to break the bank because I still had that other child I needed to homeschool. And so it was a struggle. And I did work in the children's room then. And the Education Studio started out not as a nice studio with all of this stuff, but as just a little collection of books that I was able to do some research and found out what some of the best materials were. And I got hooked up what was then with Tutor Eau Claire, what is now Dyslexia Resource Center, and did some more training in the Orton Gillingham multisensory method of helping children who need help learning to read. And we just have this one little shelf in the children's room. And as that went on, I realized that parents could use those teacher in service days as well, trying to help their kids and learn about how to help children with different learning issues. And so we started hosting parent classes at the library, and we had people like Orton Gillingham specialists like Janet Jones, you see here, come in and talk to us about multisensory practices. And there's my son when he was much younger. He was very kind to volunteer to be like the the test subject at these workshops. So he would come in and help, and I think it was exciting for him to help with the workshops. And back then, of course, before COVID, we had, people in the library doing the workshops right there in the building. So we started doing that. So as the years passed, the collection got bigger and bigger, and we got grant funds to expand and to bring in homeschool curriculum, more workshops, more expertise, a certified Montessori teacher that comes in and did our math training. And it's just been super exciting, super fun. And it's kind of like the dream of when I first started homeschooling, of having, teacher workshops for homeschool teachers, and a space that homeschool teachers could come and do some lesson planning research, and find the cool resources for the hands-on activities for their kids. And that's what it's become today. This is the Education Studio today. When the library was renovated a few years ago, we got a beautiful space. And this is just a little portion of it, but it has the booth seating and the whiteboard tables and a big cabinet full of hands-on manipulatives that you can use in the building. Now, you do not have to have a library card to come in our space and to use the materials in the space, in the room, or to take the curriculum off the shelf and look at it. I will add that right now, in this post-COVID world, we did just open, you can come to the children's room, but the little hands-on materials, those things aren't quite out yet, and we hope that they will be soon when it's safe and we can clean them appropriately after each use and that kind of thing. But soon, and you do not have to have a library card to come and explore those materials or sit in our space and use those materials to make lessons or to study up on that. So the Education Studio became a place where we had workshops for families to come together and play learning games. We took games like Jenga and Candyland, as you see here, and we would write, if you're doing Magic E, we have Magic E Jenga, or if you're studying consonant blends, we have Consonant Blend Candyland. And these are things that you could come and see what it looks like and then create it for yourself, because a Jenga game and a Candyland game are not very expensive. And if you wanted to make your own for home, very easy to do. Today, the education collection in the children's room in the Education Studio has so many things. I could not put them all on one list, but just as a sampling, we have lots of multisensory teaching resources. We have the Orton-Gillingham method titles, like the manual, and lots of books on helping your child learn to read through the Orton-Gillingham method. We have handwriting books and materials. Some of the, what is it called? Handwriting Without Tears. We have a lot of their materials. We have decodable readers, which are readers like you might think of with Cat, Sat, Mat. Those early readers where you only have to know a few sounds, a few short vowels and some consonants to get going. We have OG, and that just refers to Orton-Gillingham based reading programs with the teacher manuals. So you can check out curriculum to teach your child from home with, we have more than one. We have actually a plethora of the reading curriculums. One that we really love a lot is all about reading. And that one we actually have in kits that you can check out for the semester or even the school year. And I think that's just fabulous. Yep. This last year, we actually had a grant that the consumable resources, like the student workbook and the little flashcards, were purchased with grant money. And you could check out this kit that had all of it, and you got to keep the workbook and the cards. Now, to check things out, you do have to have a library card, but you can get a library card for only $65 a year if you wanted to do that and check out those materials.
Which is so affordable.
Yes, it is. It's very affordable. And then we also have other programs like the Stern Math program, which is not Stern like you're being Stern. It was the person's last name. I always feel like I need to say that because people hear Stern Math and they're like, oh, is it just an uncomfortable math for kids? But no, it's just a person's last name. It's very Montessori approach. Books about ADHD, dyslexia, autism, all sorts of different titles like that we can get for you to help understand some of those things. Homeschooling titles, lots of books about getting started homeschooling, or one of my favorites is all of the books that we have on the different philosophies of homeschooling. So if you're interested in Montessori or Waldorf or Charlotte Mason or classical or unschooling, or we have a book on all of it. And we even have forest schooling. Like I have just scoured the internet for all the new what's popular in education, and we try to get those for you. We have the writing curriculum from IEW, the Institute for Excellence in Writing, so you can get those materials, William Van Cleve materials, Janet Jones materials, audiobooks, just so many audiobooks for parents and students. So if you're that parent who you would like to, expand your teaching with maybe some knowledge about, reading instruction or writing or whatever it is, but you don't really have time because you're homeschooling kids. I mean, I get that. Been there. So you can listen to it in the car. You can listen to it on your, on your device. So we have lots of materials like that. We also have a very robust collection of graphic novels in the Education Studio that cover like science and social studies content area. We even have Shakespeare in a graphic novel. So if you have a child that needs a little help, needs a little pictures to get through some of those content, come in and develop your unit study around some of those graphic novels. I mean, they're so cool. We have the Max Axiom sets and some other stuff. It's really nice. And then, of course, the entire cabinet that has Montessori materials, math materials, tactile letters, all kinds of stuff. And those are the ones that will be available soon, but are kind of off the table right now just because of the COVID progression.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, it is. And here's just a picture of a few of the things I mentioned. I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but the forest school stuff, the story of the world, it's the history. We have the teacher's guides and the student book. We also have the audios. Here's the All About Reading curriculum, Life of Fred for math, these books on Montessori and Waldorf and all that stuff. Here's some of the graphic novels about biology. That's one of the biology sets we have, and the IEW. So just a lot of curriculum. And some of the curriculum, like I said, you can do the set that checks out for the semester, like the All About Reading. The other things check out for 3 weeks, but don't worry, you can renew up to 5 times. So, 5 times 3, you can get 15 weeks out of it as long as nobody else is on hold for it. And then let's say, well, you've had it 15 weeks, but you wanted another 15 weeks. You can always bring it in and check it in and then just check it right back out. And these things we have, we have multiple copies of these. So let's say that you are using maybe one of the IEW books, for instance. That's not going to be the only copy of that book. So if you're getting close to the end of your hold, just put a copy on hold for yourself. And then when you go and check yours back in, it's either going to already have pulled your hold for the new one, or it'll like check yours in and say it's on hold for you, and you'll get it right back. So there's definitely ways to expand that time if you need more time than what you have with it. We also have reading skills programs in the library before COVID, and now we went virtual with these. So the one for right now in the summer of 2021 is full, but we do have a waiting list that we keep. But we had a grant program that has 50 students in it, and they get the Lexia online program free to use at home. You did have to have a library card to join this program, but we do have programs like this going on from time to time. They got this wonderful bin of books that's theirs to keep forever, free, not a library book, but like their own collection of books to take home. And then they got the Lexia subscription. And then they also got, I don't know if you know what Atlas crates are, but they got a 3-month over the summer subscription to Atlas crates to have that delivered to their home. Not even having to come to the library to pick up that Atlas crate. It was delivered. It's going to be delivered to their house.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So do check with us from time to time because we'll have these grant programs. I'm always on the lookout for grants that'll help cover things to put books in the hands of children, which is the vision for the children's room, and to help parents have the materials they need to teach their kids at home. And we keep moving forward. My coworker there that you see with me, Emily, she's also a reading specialist in their studio. And we did win a national award in 2017 for movers and shakers with our work with the Education Studio, because it is pretty uncommon. You don't see a lot of libraries that go this far to help parents, working with their kids. And as well as we do trainings, we hook up with the IDA, the International Dyslexia Association, and the state library. We do trainings for librarians all over the state. And we've also gotten funding for like little starter collections for materials for other libraries and branch libraries and branches and other libraries in other counties. So we are trying, if you don't have a library card in Richland County, you could always bug your library to come see us in the studio and to try to get funds to bring some of these things to your library. And we do training for those things as well. So you can think of us as like your book baristas. So you go to the coffee shop and maybe you want it with coconut milk, or whatever, like what you almond milk, or you want the whole milk. If you come to us and let us know, like, we get all kinds of crazy requests, and I can almost assure you that your request is not going to blow our mind. We have people that come in and say, we want books, but we don't want animals in clothes, or we want a story about this, but we don't want this, or we don't. So do come and see us, and whatever it is that you're looking for. I remember a lady came in some years ago and she said, I'm here to get some books for my kids, but I don't want any twaddle. And then she looked at me because I know that she was like, this person doesn't know what that is. And I'm like, Charlotte Mason, right? You're a Charlotte Mason gal. And she was blown away that, like, oh my goodness, this person at the library knows what that is and is here to help me do that. And absolutely, I can do that. I can find you some books with no twaddle. Or for those of you who like twaddle, we can find you some twaddle. So whatever it is that you're looking for, come see us and we'll take care of that for you. While we were down for COVID, we did amazing work at boosting our content that is online. So now I think Kim is going to share her screen with the richlandlibrary.com/educators. And I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the things that you can find there. And these are things, you don't have to have a library card to use our website. That's open for anybody. You can live anywhere. You can live in Europe and pull up our website, or wherever you are, you can use these resources. So richlandlibrary.com, and you can go to richlandlibrary.com and find us. But if you do the /educators, it'll take you straight to this page that's for educators and caregivers. So Kim, if you don't mind scrolling down, you'll see as you start scrolling, there's going to be some photos. And then under the photos, you'll see it says emerging readers, ask a librarian, ESOL. Keep going down. Personalized recommendations, text sets. So if you need like a text set, which if you're a teacher by trade, that's a word they use for putting together like all the resources, a chapter book, a picture book, a video, all that stuff on a topic. So if you're developing unit studies, we could help you with that too. Okay, keep going down. Let's see. Of course, we have the story times online since we're not doing it in person right now, the DIY activities, all kinds of stuff, the summer learning, the Kids in Print, which is our magazine that we put out every year. Keep going down a little bit more. We're almost to the good and juicy, right there, South Carolina Education Standards. Let's click into that. So if you click into the South Carolina Education Standards, you're going to get this beautiful page. And this is kindergarten through 3rd grade, all of the standards in science and math and reading and writing. So the standards are broken up into little groups of what the standard is for all of those age levels. And you can click in and there's going to be a beautiful article about that standard. And it's going to give you what the standard is in parent-friendly terms. So how will you know if your child has met that standard? It'll give you the things. And then it'll go through that standard with you and walk you through it. And there's going to be amazing content there with videos to go over the way to make the letter sounds, ways to work on these things so that your child could meet that standard. You could develop an entire curriculum just by using this website with the standard. And then down at the bottom, you're going to have some activities. And then you're going to get into the book list that supports those standards. So you're going to see activities that you can click on, curriculum you can use, and then all the way down there at the bottom, keep going down. There you go. You're going to have a list. Then it's going to have all the books and curriculum that relate to that standard. Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
I mean, it's really neat, and it's there for all of the different standards. The only ones that we don't have in K through 3rd right now are the social studies because they were being revamped by the state at that point, and we didn't want to do them and then have to redo them all. It was quite a lot of work to do these. So let's go back to the page that we were on and back one more. Okay. And then once it gets to there we go. Let's scroll down, and that beautiful picture of those delightful children laying in the leaves. I'm saying that because that's my kid.
Oh, I recognize them.
So yeah, that says homeschoolers. So let's click into that. That sounds like a great.
That looks like a good one.
That looks like a good one. So this one's more of a list, and I'm developing it. It will one day look like that page we were just on. But for now, it's pulling everything that gets tagged with homeschooling. And if you scroll down, there's book list here. There's also a lot of blog posts about that relate to homeschooling in some way. And our blog posts are always going to have those books of those book lists at the bottom and all that stuff. So it is in a list form. It will be at one point, hopefully soon, put together in those little buttons with the pictures that are a lot easier to look for. But it's coming, and I just want you to see that it's there. Now, if we can go to the top of the web page, I'm going to show you one of my favorite deals. Right there where it says list in the middle, like, yes, click into that. This just gives me chills because I worked on it a lot and I love it so much. But these are featured lists of books. So you can just scroll down, and the first 9 are just like what's popular at the moment or what's been put up there. And a lot of it might be the grown-up books. I used to say adult books until I realized that was messing me up. Not adult books, just books for grown-ups. And then here you have the all list, the little search box. And if you go into that keyword search, type in homeschooling. This is going to be fun. Okay, and look at here. You get all these lists of books that are about like homeschooling. So all of these lists that I've worked on to put what we have right now for, say, homeschooling, writing, physics, chemistry, all the different branches of science and math and history, divided up by time period. So there's all these book lists. So you can come in here and click on these book lists and find books. And then that homeschooling from A to Z is also just like books on all different kinds of, getting started homeschooling and that kind of thing. So this is a really fun, way to look for books. The ones at the top are going to be the ones that are probably like most fit your search the best. And then underneath that, it gets a little, they're reaching, but who knows? It may also be one that you want to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the high. I mean, there's a lot more on our website, including databases and research and all this stuff. But these are some highlights that I don't think maybe people know about as much. So
I didn't.
So I hope that's helpful in giving you some new places to dig around on our website and have a good time. And also just seeing the stuff that you can check out in the studio or come and see us in the children's room and let us help set you up for your unit studies, or maybe you're doing classical homeschooling and you want to make the big old leap over to unschooling. We've got some books for that, or vice versa.
Right. You can schedule a tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
So I think I'm getting some feedback. I hear it. I don't know if it sounds like that on the thing, but you can schedule a tour to come and see all the different things, and hopefully all the cabinets will be open so you can see all those other things that are not currently under use, hopefully soon.
Yeah, and usually the tours are great. Right now, our staffing is a little different because we're still working on that COVID thing, so we have slightly less people in the office at a time as we rotate. But
hopefully
it's
by
not
the time
now,
this airs,
soon.
Soon. Coming soon. And then the other thing that I want to be sure everyone knows is the reading appointment, that if you're struggling with reading, that there is you can contact Laura and Emily, and they're reading specialists that you can get a one-on-one consult appointment.
That's right.
For free.
For free. That's right. For free. We can do it. We can either do just email back and forth. We can talk on the phone, or now you can come into the building.
Yep.
So we can just, and my email address is still my lrogers, ROGERS at richlandlibrary.com. It will soon be changing to L Cheek. So just to let you know, don't be confused. It's just me. It's the same person.
Probably by July when this airs, it'll be Cheek.
Yes. So then you can find us there. And Emily's is E Johansson at richlandlibrary.com.
And I'll have that available in our handout too. So.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, this has been awesome. And so I thank you for coming today and for going over all of these things. And hopefully it gets people excited to use these resources and to launch into some of these lists that you've provided for us. That is awesome. So amazing resources, and that's one of the great things that I love about doing this is finding cool resources. I'm a collector, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and love to get people connected to those things. So thanks a lot, and
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
we'll talk to you soon then.